It's the Jay and Thomas Podcast, an hour of commentary on today's top stories, current events, or just life in general. And here are your hosts, Jay and Thomas Darden.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Jay and Thomas Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of These Shenanigans. Hope you're all doing well out there this week. We're going to start off as we normally do and ask the man of the hour how he's doing. So, hey Dad, how you been doing this week?
Oh, very well. It's been a great week so far. It is only Wednesday. It's hump day, so yeah, it's all downhill from here, brother. Every day's like a Saturday.
I'm
kind
sure
of way it is.
Well, I'm sure when you're retired, it'll probably feel like a Saturday a lot. So
yeah,
that
I have to
sense.
ask them what day it is sometimes because I get lost and it's like, what day is it?
Oh, what an existence that must be to not have
it's tough
to worry about that sort of thing.
Yeah, it really is. It's tough.
There is a niche community online that deals with ASMR, or audio sensory meridian response, which is something that some of our lovely viewers out there may have a reaction to based on certain tactile sensations or certain sounds. And there is there's the niche portion of it is for, like, you can watch medical exam videos, and that's what this guy is being examined. He's a retired hockey player, and he says, I don't even care what day it is anymore because he doesn't have to think about it, right? He just plays golf or travels or does whatever. LaFontaine, something like that. I think he's a hockey player. And it's hilarious, the community that's based around that sort of thing. So if you all don't know what that is, you should look up some segments of ASMR. It'll be pretty interesting. A lot of people don't fancy it in the slightest, and I can totally understand because it's not for everybody. But something that maybe you can get some nice triggers or tingles or whatever it is, or maybe somebody to help you sleep. A good example is kind of like Bob Ross. He was always very peaceful, very calming, and so, it's kind of a meme online where kids would that's what we would go to sleep to, right, for a nap or whatever it is. So, pretty crazy. But you said the week's going pretty good, but you had kind of a wild story today when you were trying to head to the big city. You want to tell us about that?
Crazy story today. I've explained the cedula before, which is like the Social Security card / driver's license. Everybody has one. Your picture's on it. You get them when you turn 18. You have to have one because that's the way they identify everything. When you go to the grocery store, they put your cedula number in to see who you are, and especially if you're using a debit card or a credit card, that's the way they track everybody. Well, you have to go into Guayaquil, which is the big city with the international airport, to the registry. So last Wednesday we went there, and we went in. We did all the paperwork and stuff. Pat and I did, but on her nationality, the attorney that handled all the paperwork had put Venezuelan down as her nationality on her visa and on her cedula paperwork.
Right.
So we didn't realize it till he handed it to the guy or girl, and because we were in two separate booths.
Oh,
and
sure.
Yeah, it's like a DMV. It's one of those where we're serving E99 or D56 or
I
something.
believe you
same.
Siete y nueve.
Yeah, what you said, yeah. So they looked at it and their birth certificate, and birth certificate's from the United States, so they wouldn't process their paperwork. Well, they processed mine, but we went over there at like 9 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday morning a week ago. So you could wait and pick it up after 4 o'clock that same day. You could pick it up after 4. And I think they closed at 5 or something. So we had to come back. We had to get her straightened out, come back anyway. So I said, well, I'll just pick it up. We come back. Well, they give you a receipt because it's like 3 stages. You go in and then you go see somebody else and then you go see somebody else. So they gave me a receipt where I could go in the back door to where they give you your cedula. So we loaded up the truck today, and Leslie and Kent are the other set of people with the scooters, and they're from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's got like 4 or 5 cats. So she needed to take 2 cats to the vet. Well, the vet's in Guayaquil. Yeah. So we're riding down the road with 4 adults, 2 children, and 2 cats in the pickup truck. Now it's a 4-door pickup truck. It's decent size. And
are the cats in like crates or carriers or whatever?
Yeah. The cats were in the carriers, and she had one in the truck with her, and then one was in the bed. And I was like, well, the one in the bed's like seeing the world go by, at 80 miles an hour or whatever, So we're riding down the road, and they have 2 types of police here. We've covered this before. They have a transportation police that do all your traffic laws, and then they have the policia, which do your crimes and things like that. And so we're riding down the road where there's a transit police pickup truck, and then there's a transit police on a motorcycle. Well, the girl that's driving just blows right by him, and she wasn't born here, I don't think, but she's from here, and all of her family lives here.
Oh, okay.
So she's very, very fluent in Spanish and very fluent in English. And so next thing we know, the motorcycle cops pulling up behind us and telling us to pull over. Well, the corruption here, like 68% is what they've put out is, 68% of the transit police are corrupt.
How exciting.
And so we've had several lessons where if you're stopped, this is what you need to say or do.
Mm-hmm.
And $5 will get you on your way. And I said, well, if I'm not doing anything wrong, then I'm not giving them any money. But
yeah.
So now we got stopped twice on our scooters by the transit police, but now they figure that the 2 people with the white scooters, they're electric. So you might as well not even fool with them. And most of the time they're looking on their phone, and we blow right by them, and they look up and we're already gone.
Oh yeah.
So then they're like, well, that's electric because we didn't hear them.
Oh,
so we pull up, we pull over, and she gives the guy her driver's license and her registration. Now they have to get an inspection down here. Some states require an inspection on the vehicle by certain locations.
Like that,
yeah. Exactly. And so she hands the guy the inspections, the registration, and the driver's license. Mm-hmm. And they're going back and forth. Blah, 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 blah. Well, she pulls her phone out when she realizes that this is going downhill quick and starts video recording the stop. Well, right before the cop walked up there, he pulled his vest over his badge. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't see his badge or ID number. And she said, you've got my ID. Let me see your ID. And he started getting delirious. And so I thought, and he said he was going to have the truck towed. Well, I'm thinking, here we are with 4 adults, 2 cats, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old standing on the side of the road. And it's, 85 degrees here with the sun beating down today. It just happened to be one of those sunny days with very little breeze where it was kind of stuffy. And they went back and forth and back and forth. And so finally, she said, he said, go up and do a U-turn. And she said, I'm not doing it. So she just drove off. And I was like, damn, they're going to be surrounding us or something. I figured a transit roadblock or something, up there with spikes down and stuff, Well,
like
an OJ chase
or whatever, except it'd be
OJ chase, with the helicopter and all that, So, but all her paperwork was in order. It was all in order, and it was all up to date.
Well, that you were aware of.
Well, that's what she said. She explained when she got everything done, when she renewed her license, and it's an Ecuadorian driver's license.
Yeah.
She said when she renewed her license, when she got her last inspection, which was in June. So she had the registration, driver's license inspection, and everything was current. Well, there's 4 gringos in there. I'm going to get some money from him because I'm sure he's thinking, well, let's give him $10 or $20 and he'll tell us to be on our way.
Sure.
Well, no. So she just drove off and left them standing there on the side of the road.
Yeah, but with her paperwork. Right?
with all of her paperwork, right.
Yeah.
So he gets on his bike and chases her down, tells her to pull over, and she pulls over, and he says, I'm going to have the truck towed. And she said, no, you're not going to have my truck towed. And so they went back and forth a couple of more times, and she drove off again and left him standing there. And I'm thinking, man, you're pushing your stones in a wheelbarrow because I wouldn't drive off from a cop. Now, they don't carry guns. the transportation police don't carry guns. They got sticks, but they don't. But they have batons, but they don't have guns. Or he probably would just shot all of us and left us and went on. Took our wallets and went on. But so she drove off. Well, he didn't chase us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I'm thinking, roadblock up ahead. You're going to top the hill, and they're going to be, all pointing at you.
That makes sense.
Excuse me. The town she lives in, she's moving from Saracito to Playas. So she has an address at Saracito. So we start going down the road. Well, next thing we know, here comes the pickup truck behind us with the lights on and the siren going and all that. Yeah. Well, she turns on the dirt road in Saracito to go to her home. And it was so crazy because she's going down the dirt road and we're going, and he's pulling up beside her. And she said, I'm going to my home. Well, I said to myself, well, WTF, what are you doing?
Yeah, man.
She said they cannot tow my vehicle if it's on my property. They cannot come on my property and tow my vehicle. I'm trying to get in my driveway.
Yeah. And
I was like, hey, as long as you know where you're going, baby, I'm sitting in the front seat along for the ride, And it was a wild ride too.
Good Lord,
because we're going side by side, and this guy's going, pull over, and he's filming and she's filming, and I'm like, holy smoke. So she wheels into the driveway, and he pulls up behind her, blocks her in. Mm-hmm. Well, he gets out, she gets out, back and forth. And I'm like, well, we're sitting in the driveway. At least we're not going to be walking from here. But when we leave here and go back to the highway, they're probably going to be sitting there waiting on us. Well, she went back and forth, and how we knew that it was a scam was, she said the other cop kept my driver's license and my registration on the motorcycle, and he said, "What cop?" The one that was riding right behind you going down the highway when we passed both of you. That's the one. And how did you know to chase us?
Sure.
See, the bike cop stopped chasing us, radioed to the pickup truck cop. Well, he started chasing us. So we knew they were in this together. And so I learned another valuable lesson. They hate to see you cry. They don't want to see a woman cry. So she started crying. Mm-hmm. And the guy goes, no, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to take your truck. And he went and got in his vehicle. Yeah. And did a U-turn and went on down the road. And she's like, she was out of her mind, cussing and flailing and all this. I've been pulled over twice, last week, and everything was fine. All my paperwork was fine, and they let me go. And they pulled her over for not wearing a seatbelt, and she was putting it on. She was putting it on at the time that they saw her, and they said, "Well, you didn't have it on when we saw you." She said, "Well, I got it on now." So because it's a $250 fine if you don't have your seatbelt on down here. Yes, even the passenger.
Good
and
Lord,
they will ticket the passenger. They don't ticket the driver. They ticket the passenger. Yeah. And if you're thinking about ever leaving the country and not paying that ticket, you won't get out of the country until you pay that ticket. That's just how they operate. You're in the zone. Mm-hmm. So welcome to the Xander zone. Yeah. So so we leave and go back. Mm-hmm. We go into the big city. We go to the register. And I walk in and pick mine up. It's funny because I walk in the back door and the guy sees me, and I'm walking slow. And he says, opens the door for me and says, "Go to that guy right there." And so the guy's, I hand him my receipt, and he goes, "Well, blah, 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 blah." I start speaking. I said English, and he goes, "Hey, no problem." I said, "Okay, thanks." Yeah. So he asked me my last name. I told him. He got a deck of cards out with a rubber band around them. He went through the cards. Thomas J. Yep. Okay. There you go. He said, hand the card to the lady down there. Mm-hmm. She's going to take a picture of you without the mask, and you'll be good to go. And I'm like, thanks. Nice. So once I got her, I had to walk down there and stand and because she was texting on her phone, maybe her boyfriend while her husband was at work or something. I don't know. But, she was on the phone, and I went, and she finally looked up. Okay. Hey, fat boy, how you doing? So, I gave her the cedula. She slid it into a machine. She adjusted the camera a little bit, pushed the one button and pulled the cedula out, get out.
There you go.
So
bada bing, bada boom.
We went around. Yeah. So I went around front to go in with Pat and Gigi around the front door where we went in last time with the correcto paperwork. And the guy proceeds to tell us that the system's down.
Of course it is.
Yeah, and it'll be down till 3:00.
Oh.
Oh wait, I don't wear a watch anymore because I don't care what time it's. What time is it?
How exciting. It's 6:51.
Yeah, it
right
was
now.
like, it was like 12:00, and I'm like 3:00. How does he know 3:00? Why does he pull 3:00 out of his caboose there? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what makes it be 3? How come it can't be 2 or 4 or whatever? So
I was gonna say
anyway,
maybe it's scheduled maintenance, or that's when
I don't know, but
like they have the schedule for the guy to come fix it or girl to come fix it.
they had a line outside. Well, they closed at 5:00. Come fix it at 5:30. You know, I mean,
yeah, right.
So
yeah,
so they had a line outside, and so we got out of line and got something to eat, and then we went back and checked. And the same lady she said, I can't afford to leave. The lady standing in front of us, she was telling the guy that was watching the door, she said, I can't afford to leave. I'm gonna have to stand right here till 3:00. And I was like, Jesus, lady, I didn't think her. We should have brought her a combo back with a drink or something.
Yeah,
so we checked, and she was still standing in the same spot. And so, yeah. So she wasn't giving it up. She wasn't giving it up. She wasn't getting any closer to the front. So we figured, okay, because we had dropped Leslie off with her 2 cats at the vet, and then went over there. So it's like, well, now we got to go. And we had dropped the 2 children off at their aunt's house because her family, Gigi's family, lives in Guayaquil.
yeah.
So we dropped them off at the aunt's house. So it's just, we were rolling like that. So then we went back and picked up Leslie and the 2 cats, then picked up the 2 little boys, and then we came back. So she drops everybody off, and she stops by her place to pick something up. And we're pulling out of an alley onto the main drag, and we don't go 20 yards, and a transit cop pulls us over. She's like, oh, my God, what am I going to tell this guy? I don't have anything to give him. But backtracking a little bit, the police officer in the pickup truck did give her his phone number and said, if anybody stops you before you get your paperwork back, you call me and I'll explain to them that one of the other guys has your paperwork. Because she showed him the video of this guy taking her paperwork.
Oh,
I mean, she had it all on video. He got my paperwork and never gave it back.
Yeah.
So she showed that dude the video, and he's like, oh, and then she started boo-hooing, and they let us go. But anyway, this guy's like, well, he gave her back her inspection sheet. He didn't give her back her driver's license or registration, but he gave her back her inspection sheet. So that's all she had. And she was explaining to the guy that here's my inspection sheet. She has a sticker on the window showing 2021, and all of her paperwork's are legal. And so here's my sticker on the window that the inspector gave me. So everything is up to snuff.
Yeah.
My license, and so he's like, vamos, get on. So,
yeah, vámonos, amigos.
Yeah, there wasn't nothing else, but I was like, Jesus, man, we're going to be on the side of the road in handcuffs, or, we're going to have dogs on us or something. I don't know.
Well, it could have been like they did down in Mexico, right next to the railroad, where they brought the dogs and the shotguns and all that when, we're like 12 years old on the mission trip.
Were you scared?
I wasn't, no, because
I was. Those are federales, man. Them guys are out of their minds down there when we were down there.
Luckily,
and they're telling you, they're telling us to get off the railroad easement, that you can't be on that property.
Well, luckily, it was at a time where ignorance was bliss, right? So it's like, look at the pretty dogs. It's like, that gun looks freaking cool, and it's like,
the AK he's got hanging around his neck. Yeah,
right. It's like, that's like a movie or something.
Yeah, you wonder who furnishes that weapon to the Mexican people. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty crazy down there. So
yeah, that's something else. I'll definitely have to make the title to this the Ecuadorian OJ. Something.
Yeah, yeah. So there we were. So we were flying down the road, expecting anybody to pull us over or shoot at us at any moment. We just didn't know. So and you come down here, and the military is on almost every corner too. There's guys in camouflage, and green
fatigues or whatever. Sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say, are there fatigues down there green?
They're blue. They're kind of a dark blue, light blue.
Gotcha.
Or medium blue, dark blue. because I asked her, I said, I see these guys on almost every corner. She said, that's military. And I said, well, I knew they were some type of military or institutional guys, and these guys are serious. They got guns too. And I was like, holy smoke. So
wow.
We stopped at a red light, and I looked to the left, and there was the Grand Hotel where we stayed when you came down here.
Oh, yeah. and the elevator got stuck because they're like they were playing the tuba as we got on, and
that's a funny story too. You and Pat and I got on an elevator, and I saw you on your watch calculating the kilograms, and you looked over at me and you said, we're in trouble. And then the elevator stopped about 8 inches short of going fully to the floor.
Right.
And we're hitting the emergency bell going, help.
Yeah,
so then they pry the doors open. They go, oh man, it's the heavy duty crowd right here. It's the Humpty Dumptys or something.
Well, what was exciting was not taking the elevator anymore for the rest of that stay there, which I mean, I definitely needed the exercise anyways, but that
take the service elevator. Take the service elevator, holds more people or more weight.
I ain't playing, because it was like this thing can only hold like, I don't know, 700 pounds or something, and then you could just hear it like and straining at the tail.
Help me. Help me. That's right.
And it's like,
that's right. So
it
was a crazy day, man. We started at 8:00 and we didn't get back till about 4:30. I mean, it was a crazy day, man, because traffic in Guayaquil, like I said, there's 4 million people in a 4 square mile area. And I mean, and they're just like this all the time and barely missing each other and stuff. It's amazing.
Well, and that's big city life, right? I mean, no matter what the big city is, there's going to be folks, if they are in air quotes a big city and they know what's going down, then that's how it is, and it's pretty wild. Some people are all about that big city life. They love the hustle and bustle, and honestly, if public transport was anything like it should be in this country, then it would be pretty wonderful. Because, like, speaking on that, Nashville was never meant, from at least what I've heard, it was never meant to be this big, right? The infrastructure wasn't set up to actually make it so it's like, oh, this is the popular place to be. It was meant to be like a medium-sized city with, decent levels of traffic, but nothing crazy, where you have certain cities that were meant to be hubs and major thoroughfares like Atlanta, when they have 8 lanes on each side, something just insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Going through the city and whatnot, and you just don't have that in Nashville. It's more, you're lucky if you can get on 65 or Briley, which circles the city a little bit, and then that's how you function. And if not, then you're just kind of screwed. I've been pleased to see several, like, they're gigantic purple buses or vans, and that's kind of the public transport. And I honestly hadn't seen like a metro or anything like that in forever, but you
are they
the
WeGo
bus, are
they
like
WeGo vans? WeGo, yeah.
And then you'll have one.
See, in Memphis,
bus and one small van.
Memphis, there was nowhere to expand.
Right.
You're in the corner of the state, and the bottom of you is Mississippi, and across the river is West Memphis. You had nowhere to expand.
Sure.
Unless you went north or east. So I don't know how that expansion ever came about, but
I don't know.
They didn't have anywhere to go.
Well, and like we've kept mentioning over and over and over, especially with the pandemic and all that stuff, a lot of people, especially nowadays, they're able to work from home. They're actually having less cars on the road. It's actually better for the environment. Like, it was
right.
It's pretty interesting. I actually had a conversation with somebody who actually for a while touted very much that they are nervous on the state of the planet, basically. And, that they wanted to eat less meat because of the way that's harvested and whatnot. And then also, worrying about becoming an interplanetary species. I mean, it went pretty far. And one of the best things ever was they asked me what my list of reasons was to want to work from home. And that was like, I don't know, number 6 or 7 on my gigantic list. And they say, "Oh, are you really going to go there?" And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's your own argument, right? Like, you're worried about the planet for your kids, right? And it's something that is just incredible to me that people get offended. And it's like, well, you know, just like you said, you asked. And if I use an argument that you don't like, well, that's how it is. That's how those kind of conversations go. But something that you mentioned was pretty interesting in that story, where you said that one of the parts of that adventure, because that's what that was, was taking cats to the vet, right? And of course, someone having like 4 or 5 cats, you know, shout out to our cat people out there. That's cool and fine and well and good. Love some kitties, but it's very interesting to think about putting in that much effort for pets, right? For animals. Some people would even call them family members, depending. And it's pretty cool. And I've actually read in Dr. Peterson's book, it's a scenario that, it's actually one of his 12 rules for life. And it's, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. It's the 12 rules for life. And this one talks about taking care of yourself like you're caring for someone else, right? And it's a very interesting lesson because, let me see, take care of yourself. Let me pull it up really quick.
When you're retired, you don't have anything to do but take your cat to the vet, right?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's right.
Yeah. So pursue, blah, 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 be frank. Yep. So treat yourself like you are, like someone you are responsible for helping. And one of the instances of that, or one of the examples, is a pet, right? Where somebody, let's say that they have some kind of condition where they're supposed to take like medicine or something like that, and they just don't, right? They stop taking it, or they don't keep up with it. But that same person, if they have an animal, a dog, a cat, a lizard, whatever, they will actually put more effort into caring for that other thing, whether or not it be an animal, person, whatever. They'll always do better taking care of somebody else or something else. And to that end, it's incredible, like, to me, because a lot of people, and we've talked about this a little bit, where I don't want to say people are selfish, because that's not fair, because everyone is technically looking out for themselves. Like, that's to a degree what being a person is, right? Is making sure you are your best version of yourself for everyone else around you, right? Like, it actually benefits folks more if you are your best iteration of you than not. So to that end, I don't think it's selfish when people say, I'm looking out for number one. Well, it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of the point. But when they don't look out for number one, and then they take care of like their friends more than themselves, or animals more than themselves, let me posit that to you. And why do you think that is? Like, why would somebody, from your experience, from all the people you've known, all the places you've seen, etc., why would that be the case? And I know that's kind of off the cuff and on the spot, but give me your summation if you don't mind.
About people taking care of other people?
Right. So why?
More so than themselves?
Right. Why? And it could be, like I said, animals, like pets, whatever, or it could be people, where why do folks take care of something else over, or do a better job than taking care of themselves?
It probably could be that they feel like it's an obligation. You know, we've got 2 dogs, and I feel obligated because, you know, we have these 2 animals. I mean, they're part of the family, and we feel obligated to take care of them because we've assumed that responsibility. So, you take care of somebody or something. It's different with animals than it is with people, because people, you can take care of them till they are unappreciative or don't want you to, or whatever happens, and then you realize that you never should have took care of them to start with, because they don't care or they don't appreciate it. So that's just, and that's from personal experience. 67 years on this earth, and I've looked out for some folks, and in the end, they didn't care. They didn't care that I looked out for them and tried to do best by them and stuff. So it's just one of those things. You just chalk it up and go on. So. I don't know. Everybody's different. Everybody's different, and everybody's got different reasons, for doing what they do. So, could be a feeling of obligation. It could be love. It could be money. It could be, you never know why somebody takes care of somebody, or looks out for them.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and it's interesting to think about like kind of why those reasons are. In terms of, what is your motivation for helping others, right? Because the next time, the next time you go to help somebody, stop for a second and ask why. Is it because, you love that person or that thing or whatever? Or are you looking to get something out of it? Something that has irked me for a hot minute is people doing something for someone and say, look, I don't want anything from you,
Right.
Well, later on down the line, the same person who's like, I don't want anything from you, gets mad when they don't reciprocate in kind. And that sort of scenario, that doesn't work, right? Either you truly are doing it and then turning a blind eye forever, or, like they're lying. They do care because they get mad at it later and they remember because they have a very good memory. And it's something that, it grates on me, because here's the deal. You can, like, folks out there, you can like look for things happening back, like, karma coming back around. You can look for that. But in the end, I think you'll be a lot more satisfied if you actually just do something and don't get reciprocated. Like, you just do it as somebody would tell me, out of the kindness of your heart. And of course, I always respond back to, there is no kindness there. But to that end, when's the last time you've done something for somebody and truly didn't expect anything in return? Not a thanks, not a reciprocating response later on down the line, and then say, hey, remember when this happened? Well, no. When's the last time you did something and actually didn't expect anything in return?
I bought 2 fly screens for the guy that lives across the street. Mm-hmm. And that was something that his wife said she wanted, and that I was going to try to see if you'd pick them up before you came down. And I was standing in the commissario the other day looking at the lights they have outside for outside floodlights and stuff. Right. And Pat walked up and said, well, there's the fly screens right in front of you. And I was like, what? Nice. So, and they're the ones as seen on TV, where you can put them up and the magnets and the dogs run out and they come back together and stuff. And so I bought 2 of them for the lady across the street. Now, I didn't expect anything from her. I mean, I don't ever expect anything from her. So she said she wanted them, so I got them. They were $8 a piece. Who cares, man? So, but there's several things that I've been told in my lifetime, like, don't ever lend anybody money that you can't afford to lose.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that scenario. It's true, but I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
Well, because if you lend somebody money, they should pay you back. Unless it's a gift. If it's a gift, make that be known up front.
Right.
But
that's fair.
So, but anyway, and then I told my father, I said, I'll always be my brother's keeper.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So I told him I'd take, even though he's 5 years older than me, I'd look out for him. So there you go.
That's fair.
And I came up, and I know somebody will steal this, and I don't really care. Unless you want to do it and make $1 million off of it. I came up with a T-shirt idea, and when I was with the club, I always came up with T-shirt ideas and stuff.
Sure.
That a guy in Cookville, shout out to him, up there on the campus, right off the campus of TTU up there, that made all my shirts for me. And I want to make a shirt, and I want it to say "vaccinated" with a question mark, and underneath it, "kiss my mask." You didn't like that?
I mean,
I thought that's funny. I thought that's pretty funny. Kiss my mask instead of kiss my. Okay, never mind. Okay, then maybe you didn't like it and you don't want to make $1 million.
I was going to say, you are definitely being provocative with that.
Vaccinated with a question mark. And then I was told today that I had to make them in Spanish so we could sell them down here. So.
That's the thing. You gotta hit the Ecuadorian market with that. So
that's right. That's exactly right.
That'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
Yeah, speaking of vaccinated, the lady that's the mayor of Guayaquil, the big city.
Yeah.
She's trying to impose a mass vaccination mandate on people that go into government buildings, like the registry we went in today.
Yeah.
The bus terminal, the mall, places where people gather in large numbers. She's trying to impose a vaccination mandate.
Oh, there you go.
No. You don't have to be vaccinated to go in the mall. You don't have to be vaccinated to get on a bus, to go into the bus terminal. She's trying to pull that off, but I don't see it happening because there's too much opposition. But that's the latest thing down here that they're trying to pull off.
Well, it's a scenario that, I mean, you can try to get people vaccinated, over and over and over, and some people just are going to say, nope, not going to happen ever. Sorry about your luck. And then some folks will just do it and move on. And, until something happens, like, we could live for 60 more years and then be like, finally, see a side effect or something and be like, I knew it, as you're dying. And it's like you held on to that forever. And it's like, it's not worth it. And the reason why I say that is because we have a finite amount of energy, time, and brain space. And it's something where if we're going to do something, we need to focus on the positive, right? Focus on the best all the time or whenever we can, because much like the internet meme, ain't nobody got time for that,
Right.
So utilize your precious time and energy on things that matter. And it's kind of humorous because that's kind of another 12 rules for life, which is seek what is meaningful, not what is expedient. All right. So that kind of leads into that a little bit because it's important.
This, for those that know me, this is not a Mountain Dew.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't had any Mountain Dew since April the 13th. Oh. And do you know that I haven't been behind the wheel of a car or a truck since April the 12th.
Oh my!
How about that? Haven't driven in over 3 months. Yeah. And all you people that said I'd lose 10 pounds if I quit drinking Mountain Dew, liars. I didn't lose 10 pounds when I quit drinking Mountain Dew.
Well, I think that was more angled at, if you don't drink sugary drinks or
right,
because that's one of the hardest things they say when you are losing weight or attempting to, because oftentimes it is an attempt, whether or not you succeed or fail. One of the things that people say is do not drink your calories. All right. That's
well, there's no sugar in that. That's a lemon lime drink with no sugar.
So it's just filled with hate then.
Yes. No artificial sweetener or nothing. Yeah. It's a little tart, but you can't buy Mountain Dew down here. So.
Well, lucky for them, because they definitely don't need it. That's for sure.
That's right. But that's exactly right.
It's and when you said we don't have you haven't been behind the wheel, and I said, oh well, so people are rejoicing everywhere, so we don't have anything crazy behind the wheel or anything like that. So
I'm so glad that I'm not going across the the cracked Memphis, Arkansas bridge on I-40 that they're repairing. That they found there was a crack in the stress holders there.
Yeah, we talk about that every day in our morning meeting.
And then in Little Rock, they're working on I-30. They've got several exits and entrance ramps shut down on I-30 in Little Rock, Arkansas, and that's the way I went to Dallas. Was I went through downtown Little Rock because it's shorter to go through downtown, and there's actually less traffic than on 440. So, yeah. So hopefully for all those people, they'll get that fixed for you. Yeah.
Well, they say it's not going to happen until middle of August, I think is what they were saying, because their first estimations were radical, and it was like, it's going to take a year, it's going to be insane, and yada yada. And it's like, no, we ain't messing with that, because that's way too long of a time for that to be closed. With the amount of like technological savvy and power we have, they got to get that fixed a lot faster, because it's
pull that piece out and bolt in another one. Yeah, pull that piece out and bolt in another one. It's all bolted together, So,
well, I was going to say maybe they'll take this opportunity to improve upon things, so it doesn't happen in the future. So, but
I hope so.
Who knows, man? It's like city planners and folks who are in charge of that sort of thing. Like, who knows what they got going on. One of the problems too is a lot of, from what I've heard, of course this could definitely be based or baseless, I should say, is some contracts are just based on time in general, so they're not going to work smart and fast and hard. They're just going to ride out the proverbial clock, which is fine. You do you, and you got contracts and people to feed and yada yada. So more power to you, but it doesn't seem like that is the best way to handle that sort of business.
Hopefully they'll get it done. It's okay with me.
Right? Yeah. Sipping a Mai Tai, watching the boats go by. I actually saw something that was incredible this week. I just remembered talking about the boats going by. They actually now at the beach have boats that have ads on them. They have like billboards on these boats.
Really?
And they drive by and they just like eat McDonald's, and they just they have advertisements on it, man. It is wild.
No, don't never eat at McDonald's.
Well,
no, never.
It is what it is, but just anybody and everybody, it's like, how can we get the ads in your face?
In front of people's faces. Yeah.
It's absolutely wild. Jaron, sorry, I kept calling him Jared. It's Jaron Lanier. He talks about social media and he was quoting a book, or he was paraphrasing a book that basically said, as a thought experiment, we let's think about the future. This was like back in the early 1900s, I think, or could have even been the 50s. But they were talking about having something. Of course, my phone is my camera, so I can't pull my phone up. But having a technological device, or having a piece of technology that could fit in your hand that everybody had, well, what it would do is it would be centered around behavior modification, right? So getting a ding somewhere, like somebody getting a notification, somebody getting a text message, somebody getting an email, an ad, whatever, they can actually, much like Pavlov's dog, ring the bell, dog salivate, they can actually modify your behavior with your phone very subtly. And it's incredible the amount of power that thing has over us.
Yeah, and they're listening to everything you do. Don't think they're not.
They are. I mean, well, and if they're listening to this, they've turned it off, much like our other viewers, I'm sure, many minutes ago. But to that end, it's wild. Like, it is absolutely crazy how much they can, and by they, I mean, whatever you want to call it, like big tech overlords or whatever, because they can make you do and believe certain things with small nudges, just tiny little nudges. Because eventually, if you move a millimeter a day, well, eventually you've gone a mile, right? So it's just incredible, man.
Yep, you're right. You're exactly right.
I do find it's not humorous, the fact that you got hassled today, but the point of, oh, look, corruption and bad things and yada yada are all over the world. You can't escape it.
Right. You're exactly right. You're
right.
exactly
So
right. Because they said if you're ever having a problem, to call 911, call the real police, because the real police don't like the transit police because they know there's so much corruption there, and the real police will come in there and take care of stuff. So all you got to do is say, well, hold on a second, I'm gonna dial 911 to get the police out here, and we'll solve this. And they said, man, they'll scoot pretty quick because they don't want to tangle with the real police. So, and I found something very interesting too. They carry their guns right here on their chest. They have chest holders.
Oh,
posters.
Okay, sure.
And most of them, it looks like, are carrying the old Model 19 Smith & Wesson 38 revolvers. What it looks like, the old wood grain handle.
Oh,
and they got them stuck right here. Yep, they're right here on the front. Because I walk along and I look and I don't see a holster.
Mm-hmm.
And they turn around and it's right here. And they walk around with their hand on it. They don't make any bones about it. They've got their hand on it. Yeah. Yeah, they're not playing around down here, especially if they're picking up money or going in and out of the stores and stuff.
That's funny. You mentioned the somebody picking up money and whatnot, and the story of you were talking about watching like an armored car guy, and he's got both hands on, like he's got bags in both hands. And when you're like, oh well, he's the easiest target in the world because he can't pick up his gun, right? He's got to drop a bag.
Right.
So
that's correct.
That's pretty wild,
Yeah, watched many people do that. They carry the money bag with the drawing hand.
Right.
So, yeah, and I guess they just don't think about it. It's a dominant hand, so they put whatever's in it in the dominant hand. So,
well,
sucks to be you when they rob you.
It's like we've seen a bunch of movies and stuff like that with people robbing armored cars and everything. Like there was even a video. I'll see if I can find it and throw it in here. Where someone has like a dash cam and they straight up, like they show you somewhere. I think it might be in South Africa. It's like they show you from the dash cam because it's pointing back at the people, like the drivers, and it shows like the bullets impacting the bulletproof glass. It is intense, dude. They're just a couple inches away from just literally getting blown away,
Right. I found something interesting in my security training that there were a lot of people in there from, I don't know if it's Brinks or Luminous or whoever the armored car people are in the United States. And one of the things is if I'm driving and if their partner came out and somebody had a gun to his head, company policy is to drive off. I told him, I said, man, if that dude don't shoot me, I'm shooting you when I see you again. You're going to leave me? You're going to leave me there? Because they didn't want him to have the advantage of opening up the truck, I guess, and getting more money. So you're supposed to drive off. Well, the instructor said, that truck got a reverse. He said, throw that baby in reverse and back over him. He said, your buddy would rather you have a broken hip than have his brains blown out. So just throw it in reverse and back over him, and then get out and take and pull forward and get out and take care of business. And I'm like, that makes sense. Yeah. Got a gun to my head. I open the door, and this guy, off he goes. And I'm standing there with a bag of money and a gun to my head. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Well, and it's...
Please pull forward.
It's Honestly, I'm not sure how often that occurs. I'll have to try to find something in post where we can show the statistics of how many times an armored car gets attacked or bombarded or assaulted, whatever you want to call it. But that's pretty intense.
Down here, they look like tanks. They literally look like a tank. Little slot to look out of, instead of a window, they got a little slot around it. Yeah. And they're sporting a 12 lug wheel and stuff like that. Yeah. It's pretty intense down here in this. It ain't like anybody's got a lot of money. So I guess they're thinking, well, we don't want to get hit,
For sure, man. Like, it's a scenario where, I mean, just give somebody a couple $1 million. All right, perfect. They're done, they're done forever. Because who was it? I was talking to one of my buddies yesterday, and he said, yeah, just if I win the lottery, just put me a couple million in a savings account. I get, X amount of $1,000 per year, and then you're good to go. But
that's it.
That's something else. And one thing I really enjoy about folks who talk about winning the lottery are people who never buy tickets.
That's me. My buddy said, if you don't play, you can't win. I said, true. That's right. It's true.
Well, speaking of playing and winning.
Speaking of playing and winning, I have on my Norton motorcycle shirt. Thought I'd throw that out there. Norton motorcycles.
Is that supposed to mean something to a non-enthusiast?
No, it is not. So, God bless him.
Alrighty then. Well, that's
first shirt I grabbed this morning.
Okay. It was funny. I was like, I thought you said you don't normally wear a shirt, but then again, you're doing right by all of our lovely fans and actually not showing off the what God gave you. So we all appreciate that very much.
That's right. That's right.
But
it was abundant.
Speaking of playing and winning, it'll be an interesting journey. Tomorrow I leave on a jet plane to Las Vegas, and my buddy and I are going to head out there for several days. And one thing that he's all about being cheap or utilizing the cheapest option if at all possible, which I'm not mad at him. That's totally fine, and I do agree to some end. Like, yes, this makes a lot of sense. He wants us to drive 3 hours to go pick up his little Miata in California in a slingshot. That's that 3-wheeled Batmobile looking thing.
I know exactly what it is. And
he's like, this is the cheapest option by far. And I was like, okay, because I think what's going to happen is I don't drive stick, and I think that's what his Miata is. So I'll end up driving the slingshot back to Las Vegas once we go pick it up down in California.
Better make sure you better. I've never seen an automatic slingshot, so you better make sure that's not a stick too.
Well, here's the deal. If it is, it's going to be a very quick conversation of, cool, here's an extra $150, give me a real car, and then we'll move on the.
I'm just saying, I've never seen one because if I had a slingshot, I wouldn't have a 5-speed. I just wouldn't because I don't want to shift. But I've never seen it. They might make them, but I've never seen one.
Well, and it's something where I'm sure when we get down there, we can always upgrade. But what was incredible about that scenario was 3 days ago, he sends me a Priceline link that has all the car options, okay? And then, like, the luxury car is like $90 for a day. Okay, I get it.
Okay.
It's a luxury car, it's a Cadillac or something like that. The next day, because he says, hold off for a day, and then let's see about, let me make sure my car is going to be fixed by his buddy in California before we rent a car and all this, because of course you can taxi everywhere around Vegas if you need to.
Sure.
And so within a single day, that luxury car goes from $90 for one day to $250, just like that. And it's for a Thursday into a Friday, like you get it for 24 hours.
Right.
That is absolute lunacy right there.
Right.
And it's
Well, you are talking about the West Coast, so nothing surprises us there. Right.
Well, to a degree, like I'm not surprised. It just is somewhat annoying because I could understand, like, let's say it goes to like $1.50. Okay, totally fine. This went from I understand things are going to be expensive, reasonable mindset to this is absolute insanity because now they know that you looked at it. Now they're like, oh, they're going to get desperate here. They need something like this. And it's like, dude, I'll just take a taxi to the nearest Enterprise, just pay, $60 for the compact because I don't care. I can fit in a Matchbox for a few hours and then move on. But that was just absolute like craziness. How much of a difference in price that was. So
yeah, that is pretty sad.
I mean, that's just way too much cheddar, and like you're already in lost wages, as some people call it,
right?
Because you're out there spending all your money, and it's like, bruh, help a brother out, just don't rip them off, gently fondle them, don't just kill them, like make it worth my while. So I'm sure I'll have a story or two to tell when I get back. That'll be pretty interesting. So,
I bet.
Hopefully it is, and it's not oppressingly
too dry.
hot.
Yeah, too dry.
Well, no. That's the thing. If it's dry heat and it's not humid, give it to me. That's totally fine. I'd much rather not swim through the heat than it be just like ridiculously hot and humid, kind of like it can get in other places. Like give me that other kind of stuff. Have you ever been out to Vegas?
Oh yes. I picked up a load of beer in Norfolk, Virginia, and drove it from Norfolk, Virginia to Las Vegas. I was about 2 blocks off the strip at a Anheuser-Busch distribution center. Yeah.
Well, did you actually do Vegas, or were you just passing through?
I stayed overnight about 2 blocks off the strip, and I went into a little local place where you could gamble.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah, and I just I like to play cards. So,
what is your game of choice?
That would be blackjack, sir. So I played a few hands of blackjack and went on about my business. I got out there, couldn't deliver till the next day. So I had overnight. Yeah.
Are you a card counter?
No, sir. I'm throw it down, hit me. Right. Yeah. Somebody help me. Yeah.
We all definitely need some more help. That's for dang sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be interesting. And of course, my buddy's going down there. He'll drive himself back over several days because I think he said it takes about 3 days if you drive for like 8 hours a day.
Right.
And then, I mean,
probably a couple thousand miles, I bet.
Yeah, he ain't playing. That's for dang sure. And so he'll drive his car back to Kentucky, and then I'll fly back on Monday, get here at 3 in the afternoon, and then potentially collapse. So, wish me luck out there with some funds and in terms of like and winning and yada yada. Because I'm gonna try to have him show me how to actually play craps, and I think he wants to sit down and play poker at some nicer tables. And I'm just along for the ride. Like I can play slot machines and just be done with it. Or if we want to go table stakes and we go and find some cool tables to mess around with, then let's do it. So
if anyone comes to the table while you're sitting there, then get up and leave. Or if they change dealers while you're playing, get up and leave. Mm-hmm. Now, I've learned this over the years because it screws up the flow of the cards. If somebody comes up, walks up, sits down beside you and throws a C note down and said, I want to buy in. It might not be that, it might not screw it up to you because you're on this side of them. Right. And you're going to get the stuff that comes out of the chute. Mm-hmm. But when you come back around, you've added a person. Mm. So you're not going to get the card that you were going to get. And if they change dealers, Get the flock out, man. I'm telling you that. And that came from a dealer at a casino.
Oh, okay.
Two reasons to get up from the table is if somebody comes to the table and adds in, and then if they change dealers, like a dealer takes a break or lunch break or whatever, I get up and walk away.
Yeah, but my question would be, I can understand the flow of the cards actually changing if you add another variable, like another person. That totally makes sense. However,
Right.
what does the dealer have to do with that? They're coming out of the same chute. They're doing like the same cards. That doesn't make any sense.
You play them how you do you, and I'll do me, because it's worked every time. I haven't lost my ass yet, so I just get up and walk away. And I don't leave all my chips on the table either. If Pat's with me, if I win a hand or two, I'll reach back behind me, and she knows to take those chips from me. And then when we get up from the table, I don't have a bunch of sitting in front of me, and it looks like, all in, and pushes a big stack in. I don't do that.
Sure.
So I've been feeding her when I get up from the table, and I pick up what I've got on the table and turn around. I go, how much we got? We got $500-$600. Okay, cool, man. Let's roll.
Well, that sounds very exciting.
Yeah, because we've gone to Metropolis several times.
Sure.
Over the bridge in Indiana from Kentucky, and then we've gone down to Tunica several times. So yeah, it's all good.
What's the highest per hand or per deal blackjack that you played?
I usually play $25 a hand.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well,
they've got a $10 a hand, $15 a hand, $25 a hand. It's the highest I play. I don't play it every time.
Sure.
I might play the $10 hand. So. But
well, that's kind of wild. So
yeah,
my buddy's a gambler. He'll hopefully tell me some tips and tricks.
I was playing the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, slot machine, and I won $600 on it up in Wisconsin. I can't think of the name. It wasn't Oshkosh. It was It's another city.
I was going to say
up in.
Let me hold Tennessee again.
Yeah. Okay. I get 10% of whatever you win. So
see, that's one of the things I'm going to try to do with my buddy is I'm going, because he's a pretty good card player, right? He plays Hold'em and stuff like that. And if I can pull like a Rain Man situation where I will be the Tom Cruise, not good looking by any means, but if I can say, okay, I'm going to I'm going to bankroll you, and then we'll split the winnings percentage, blah, 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 and then go from there. And if, we can walk away with a couple of extra $100 or whatever, then I'm all about it. Because cool.
Sure.
Here's the money. Thanks. I didn't have to do a whole lot. But also, if we lose it, then I knew what I was getting into, right? So
that's right.
Nothing too wild there. That's but yeah, we'll... it's kind of like you're not going to get this reference, but it's almost like The Hobbit, where it's like Gandalf the wizard tells Bilbo, it's like, you'll have a tale or two to tell of your own when you come back. And then Bilbo says, will you promise I will come back? And Gandalf says, no. And if you do, you won't be the same. So I'm just picturing myself having that conversation with myself, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a tale or two, and I will not be the same person when I come back. For one, I'll be much redder. I'll be as red as this shirt because, the sun will consume me. So it'll be,
it's gonna beat down on you.
Well, it'll be like I do when I go to Ecuador, right? Find the shade,
cover up,
find the shade. Yeah, that'll be the fun game to play.
That's like at the bank. At the bank out there in Las Vegas, the temperature is always blinking, with the time.
Yeah.
And at 109, the temperature at the bank and the time are the same. It's going 109, 109, 109.
Oh my
It's like, well, man, I hope it ain't like that at 4:30.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah. That'd be wild. So luckily, I think it's supposed to be. I mean, it's going to be in the hundreds, but it'll be the like 104 or something, and then it gets down to like in the 80s at night.
Everybody's like, it's a dry heat. So is fire. Yeah, it's a dry heat. So.
Wow. Okay. Didn't think about it like that, but all right, I feel you. So yeah, we'll see what what happens. Can't wait to tell y'all all about it next time. So is there anything else you'd like to speak about there, good sir? Talk about?
Yeah, I just want to leave them with the question that you and I talked about earlier this week.
Yeah.
What's the difference between stupid and crazy? And then,
I was gonna say, can you define both of those really quick?
No,
Okay,
no,
perfect.
not really quick. I just want to leave them. I just wanted them to think about that. What's the difference between stupid and crazy? That's all.
That reminds me, like, if YouTube would allow it, the end card on here would be the CeeLo Green, like, you made me crazy, you know.
Yeah,
but
that's
sadly,
right.
they will throw the demonetization hammer or the copyright hammer on you just like that.
Yeah,
So, just
they will.
Everyone, picture in your mind here in a few seconds when we go to the end card. They make you crazy. Just picture it in your mind's eye. So, but
there you go.
Yeah, that's what we'll have to do. So, thank you all very much for tuning in with us and being with us. 15 subscribers. Make sure you tickle the like, smash the bell, comment below if you want to be on or have a question or a topic that you'd like for us to discuss. And we'll see y'all next time.
You be careful.
That's it. Bye, y'all.